Alright guys, so it was requested that I recap the other episodes of Pam and Tommy, so I'm going to do that today. We are going to be talking about just episode 4, because I don't really want to wait 3 weeks to make this video. But unfortunately, I guess for you guys, it is sunny today, and I am in my car, so I'm hoping maybe I'll put some rain sounds in behind. Obviously, if you are hearing rain right now, I decided to do that. But if you didn't listen to my first episode recap, like the first 3 episodes, then you're gonna want to go back and listen to that video first, just because otherwise you'll have no idea what's going on unless you're pretty familiar with the story. But I wanted to talk about, I had talked about in the first I guess we'll call it like section of this series, that Pamela Anderson didn't consent to the show being made, and a lot of people were really upset about that. Now, I found out through some research and some other people who had been posting some stuff that apparently, now this is just based on what I found, Pam and Tommy both sold their rights to the tape a long time ago to an adult film company, so that the tape being like sold, they would get like reimbursed for it, like they would get money for it. And also I guess they both, or at least Pam, has sold her likeness, or basically signed off on any project being made about her, that they can use her likeness, her name, and her image, in documentaries, articles, TV shows, movies. So all of this is on the up and up for the most part. And also the series is based on an article that was written in Rolling Stone in 2014. And with that, the only person's permission they need to make the show from that source material is the writer of the article. So I just wanted to throw that some of that in there, because I guess a lot of people were going online and attacking Lily James and Sebastian Stan, and I'm not defending them. I'm a journalism major, so I always like to present all the facts I can. So yeah, well, I should say I'm an entertainment journalist, like that is my job. So stuff like this is very interesting to me, and the ethical parts of it. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that in here so that people knew. If you are still on the fence about this series, it is on the up and up, even if it's not to you, if it's not right, I guess I should say. So now into the episode. We're opening up, the tapes are being mailed out like crazy, people from all over are buying them, and we basically see how the operation works. So someone would order the tape, and it would or you would send your check or money order to a address in Canada, and then that address would get faxed to the people in Los Angeles, where it would be sent from, and then the money would be wired through an account in Amsterdam, and then kind of like the money would be wired from the account in Amsterdam, and then the 2 guys who came up with this idea could take the money from there. So we see these tapes are being mailed out like crazy, everything's going nuts, and Pam and Tommy still don't know that the tape is out. They are just focused on their baby, because Pam is in the early stages of pregnancy. And at this point, there's so many lines that they have Tommy Lee say. Like, they're talking about the baby's heartbeat, and he's like, oh, it's a good strong, like, 4-4, like, kickstart my heart. And I just lost it. I thought that was so, like, it was supposed to be this really sweet moment, but it was just like a oh my god kind of moment. And then we see them telling their friends, and he's like, I'm going to be a dad on purpose. Like, I think it just kind of encompassed some of Tommy's personality at that time. So we just see them really happy, and it's obviously an irony situation where it's like they're probably at the happiest they've been since, like, getting married, and we know that the worst day of their lives is coming. So we see more of Seth Rogen's character, whose name is Rand. He's getting divorced. We see more of his ex-wife, which we saw quite a bit of in the first episode. And I'm not gonna lie, I really don't care about this guy's motives or his divorce or any of his personal hardships, because what he was doing was terrible. And I talked about this in the first segment. This was all just like a big, like, middle finger to Tommy Lee. But when it came to selling the tape, the only person's name who was on it was Pam's. Like, it was like Pam's, I think they said, like, hardcore sex video. So yeah, even though Tommy was in it, his name was not on the box. And we see Pam and Tommy, like, Pam comes down for breakfast and Tommy's making her pancakes, but they're Mickey Mouse shaped. And it just, like, look, I don't like Tommy Lee. I really don't. I like Sebastian Stan, and that's where I'm at with this whole situation. And just, like, that whole section, because I like Sebastian Stan so much, I understand he's playing Tommy Lee, but when there's these really sweet moments, it's very obvious, like, oh, that's the Sebastian coming out. He's being so sweet and caring and showing that he really, really wants to be a dad. And I fully believe that part of it. Like, I'm sure he probably really did want to be a dad at that point. Tommy wants to put the sonogram picture of their baby in the safe. And as we all know, the safe is gone. So he finally realized it's gone. And when this whole saga started, it was the fall of 95 that it was taken. It is now the spring of 1996. So the safe has been gone, and it's now April. And so they file a police report, and Tommy doesn't even really remember that the tape is in there until Pam says, Tommy, the tape was in there, like, and something I noticed, and I don't know if this is, like, accurate historically, but there are two cops that Tommy is, kind of trying to discreetly say that there's, like, home movies in the safe, and they're very important that they get them back. And if you look at the officer's name tag, his last name is Barnes. So just throwing that out there for my Marvel people. But very quickly, once we realize that the safe is gone, Tommy goes right back to being a jackass. We go from this really sweet moment with the two of them to him being a jackass, him being really aggressive with the police because they're like, we may not find this stuff. It's been a while since it was probably taken. And we see that Pam feels very violated and Tommy is just more so angry. So Tommy's unhinged, insane. He's like, nope, the cops aren't gonna fix it. Let's hire a PI. And Tommy clearly has issues with everyone because the PI asks, who could be mad at you? And Pam's like, no one. I don't have any enemies. And Tommy starts listing off all these other rock stars, basically from every other band ever to exist. And then finally they put together that Tommy never paid the construction guys, and that's who did it. Like, that's their biggest enemy who probably took it. So the PI finds Rand, shakes him up a little bit, but at this point, people have started pirating the tape. They're making their own copies and selling it for much cheaper than Rand and the other guy's name is Milty, than what they're selling it for. And now Rand is upset and feels violated because his product is being stolen, and I thought it was really funny that he felt violated when clearly he just did something so beyond violating to Pam. And they still don't know how big this is at this point. They just think that one person has a hold of their tape. And then we see Pam leave her trailer. She's ready to go do a big scene. And the crew, like all the cameramen, are watching the tape on set of Baywatch. And, you know, this scene, it was so well done because I think it highlighted not only how disrespected Pam was in this whole situation, but also how disrespected she was in her own workplace. I mean, the only reason she even knew they were watching it is because she walked out of her trailer at that exact time and heard her own voice on tape and then heard Tommy's voice, and so she knew, like, that this was out. Someone was distributing this. And, you know, at this point too, the attention to detail is crazy. And I only noticed it because we kind of have this scene where Pam goes and, like, walks off set that day, walks out of shooting, and goes and finds Tommy in the recording studio to tell him what's going on. And you notice, because he's, like, wearing a tank top, that they paid so much attention to how Tommy's tattoos changed. You know, he got some new tattoos. I think he covered up an old one. And, like, he has, like, this big Mighty Mouse tattoo. And it was done on there. You could see some of his tattoos had either been touched up or refreshed or something, because they are so much more vibrant. But you can tell between episode 3 and 4 in that span of time that he obviously had more tattoos added, so they added more tattoos to Sebastian. And, you know, there's a scene where Lily James is sitting down and she's in the Baywatch one piece, and even knowing that she's wearing a breastplate, you cannot tell. Like, I now know exactly where it starts and stops, and I was kind of looking for those little, like, you know, just a little line, a little crease, just something that didn't look right, and you can't see it. So the makeup department and the editing team that did this, just bravo to them. I hope they win all the awards. That Pam is really, really, really smart, and I think that upset me more so because they show how smart she is, and yet people still disrespect her. Like, Tommy's like, I don't understand how this is happening, and she's, you know, they look on their website, and she looks and she's like, right here, like, this address in Canada, it must be where you send your money, but then they ship it out from Los Angeles. Like, this is a whole, like, global operation. Like, you just see how smart she is, and it's so effed up how people even now make her seem like she's stupid, and she's not. She's extremely intelligent. You know, Tommy decides he's still gonna take things into his own hands. He goes finds some bikers that he's gonna pay to go screw up Milty and screw up Rand, and then basically Milty tells Rand, like, hey man, this is your problem, not mine. I'm just the guy who told you, like, how to get the money. Basically kind of washing his hands of it and putting it all on Rand, which is a common theme in this show. But yeah, so Tommy's just like, I'm gonna get this tape back, we're gonna figure out what's happening, we're gonna like get this guy to at least stop selling it so that they can get the original back so he can't make any more copies, and also destroy his stock so he can't make any more money. So I mean, it wouldn't have stopped people from seeing it, but it just stopped the bleeding. So now we're seeing too, like, Tommy is way too blasé about all this happening, and like, let me tell ya, let the gaslighting begin, because he's telling Pam, like, it's okay, like, why are you acting so crazy? We're gonna get it back, like, this doesn't mean anything. She's like, you don't understand. You being on this tape and me being on this tape are two different things. And she tries to explain to him, like, how her being a woman on that tape means a hell of a lot more, especially during this time, because Tommy Lee is going to be seen as this amazing hero who slept with Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson is going to be slut-shamed. And as we know, that's exactly what happened. So, Tommy then says, I don't get what the big deal is. It's not like they're seeing anything they haven't seen before, referring to Pam being a Playboy model. And, she gets pissed. And no joke, my jaw was on the floor. I was like, I cannot believe that he just said that to her, that he would even think that that was okay. And I guess it just shows kind of what his mindset on the whole situation was more, he was mad that these people were making money, and he tried to put it on like, oh, you don't want this tape out because it's ruining your career, because your career is so much more relevant than mine. And obviously that's not what it was. This time we see she starts to feel a lot of discomfort, and she's like, Tommy, we need to go, like, I need to go to the hospital. And he, despite their fight the night before, they both are like, yep. They get in the car, he drives her there as fast as he can. They look, and I did not know this part of the story, but Pam loses the baby. She suffers a miscarriage because of the stress. It's such a big extra, like, go screw yourself to Rand and the paparazzi, because they were swarming the car after it as if she's not dealing with enough. She's crying and upset, and Tommy's like shoving the paparazzi, and at that point I don't blame him for getting physical with them, because they're a bunch of vultures. So I feel no sympathy for Rand. He can just, like, I don't know what became of him, but I hope it's nothing good. And we see Milty is going to Amsterdam, where all the money is, to move some things around. And I think it's pretty obvious that this guy, now I'm not sure, this is just my guess, he's gonna run off with this money. He's living it up. He's not caring about what's happening. So yeah, but beyond that, they go back to Lily James and Sebastian being in the car, and they stop at a red light, and they're kind of having this moment where they're like, we're gonna be okay, we'll get, like, I'm here for you, and I'm so sorry, and just kind of like, we'll get the situation taken care of so we can move on. And this paparazzi pulls up to the car and is like trying to take pictures of them in the car, having this very genuine moment, and it just, like, it pisses them both off. And this is where you see Pam snap, and she grabs, I think it's a tire iron, but it wasn't, it looked too thin to be that. She grabs something out of the back seat and starts smashing this paparazzi's windshield in. I never saw the pictures of this, or heard about this happening, so if she did this, I am super glad that she did it, and all the more power to her. I would have probably done the same thing, but Lily James just made my heart hurt, because after that, she kind of breaks down, she's crying, and at this point, Tommy comes up to her and, like, picks her up and just, like, puts her in the car. But the way they shot this, I mean, obviously I'm just saying this is Sebastian, Like, he scoops her up so high off the ground that it was like it was going to take an army of men to separate those two. And it just, like, you know that emoji that looks like it's almost crying with the, like, sad little eyebrows? That was me. I was like, oh, I'm not giving Tommy Lee any credit. I'm giving Sebastian Stan credit for being a good actor and making me feel things. I don't know what's gonna happen next. I mean, well, we kind of know, but I know we're gonna get into some of the court stuff here very soon, and I'm sure I'll be much more enraged, and it'll be very hard to quietly talk about it. So that is it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this recap of episode 4, especially if you don't have Hulu. And I guess it's on Disney Plus internationally, which is very interesting. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. If you enjoyed this one, obviously I'll cover episode 5 and I will cover episode 6, and I think there is only 6 episodes. So if there's another show you want me to recap or talk about and watch and share my opinions, I would love to do so. I'm big into documentaries and like pop culture stuff, so let me know and I will do it for you guys. So that is it for me right now, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.